Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am your host, Josh Davis, also known as Crash. Today is Monday, February 27th, 2023, and I am here to talk to you guys about the 4-game slate in the NBA today. If you're new to the channel, if you would hit the like button and then hit subscribe. After you've done those two things, if you would hit the alarm bell, that will let you know when our newest podcast has gone live. If you're new to DFS Coach Talk, we would love to have you join us. You can join us at dfscoachtalk.com. We have memberships that start as low as $3 for 3 days. So we're a very family-friendly, very encouraging community, and we would love to have you join us. So let's go ahead and get right into this 4-game slate today. 1 second. I got to pull back my news back up. I don't know what happened to it. All right, so the first game we have on this slate is going to be the Miami Heat at the Philadelphia 76ers. This game starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia is favored by 5.5, has a 217 over-under, which is the lowest over-under of the slate. It's a pretty low over-under, so I'm not sure how much ownership this game is going to be getting, but we'll look at that here in a second. So for the Heat, we have Kevin Love, who is listed as probable, I believe. Let me check real quick here. Kevin Love is, yes, probable. And then we have Tyler Hero, who is listed as questionable, but he did participate in the shoot-around, so they do think he'll play. Then we have Nikola Jovic is still out, Kyle Lowry is still out, and Omer Yurtseven is out. For the Sixers, the only injury that we show is Dwayne Dedmon, and he is listed as out. For the Miami Heat, the projected starting lineup is Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, if he plays, which it looks like he probably will. He's trending in the right direction. Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, and Bam Adebayo. And then for the Sixers, James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, and Joel Embiid. My favorite plays from this game are going to be – 1 second. I had to restart my computer earlier, and I lost my notes. So 1 second here. This game I'm actually going to be fading. Like I said, it has the lowest over-under at 217, and there's just really, if you look at the matchups, not a lot of success from either side for Miami or Philadelphia, any of the players. So, of course, Joel Embiid is the kind of player that could break the slate, but he's only averaged 39 DraftKings points in his last 5 games against the Heat. So I don't know if I expect him to be held down that low, but I think, maybe around 50 to 55, which, for his price is not really what we're looking for value. So I think I'm just going to fade this game completely, and we'll move on to the next game. Let me go ahead and check and see if there's anyone have any questions in the chat. Oh, yeah, man, I understand your phone's about to die, David. No worries. Hopefully you can catch it later on. Derek, how's it going? Doug, glad to have you here. Next game we have at 7 p.m. Eastern, Detroit Pistons at the Charlotte Hornets. This game has a 234 over-under, which I believe, is the highest on the slate. Detroit is dealing with major injuries. They have Isaiah Stewart questionable. Then we have Bogdanovich out, Duren out, Jaden Ivey out, and Nerlens Noel out. So Charlotte's a 7-point favorite. Despite their bad record, they're 19-43, and Detroit's even worse at 15-46. So these are really two of the worst teams in the NBA, but with DFS, that doesn't always matter. So for the Hornets, we have PJ Washington, who's listed as questionable, and then Cody Martin is out. Actually, he's listed as doubtful, so I don't think PJ Washington is going to play. The projected starting lineup we have for the Pistons, Killian Hayes, Alec Burks, Hamidou Diallo, Isaiah Stewart, and James Wiseman. For the Hornets, LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, JT Thor, and Mark Williams. With Jalen Duren out, I like both Isaiah Stewart and Marvin Bagley. The Hornets, they've been one of the worst against centers this year. Of course, it's come back a little bit down to earth with Mason Plumlee leaving and Mark Williams, who's been pretty solid in his place. But I still think that they're something that we can attack when it comes to bigs. Kevin Love had a nice game against the Hornets the other day. So Stewart is 5,100 on DraftKings, 5,700 on FanDuel, $19 on Yahoo. And then Marvin Bagley is 4,500 on DraftKings, 4,900 on FanDuel, and $15 on Yahoo. So I don't like him as much on FanDuel. And then James Wiseman, who's projected to start, he's only 3,700 on DraftKings, 4,800 on FanDuel, and min price $10 on Yahoo. Then we have Hamidou Diallo. He's filling in for Bogdanovich. He's 3,600 on DraftKings, $11 on Yahoo. He's 5,100 on FanDuel, so a little bit more pricey over there. Same thing with Alec Burks. He's 3,500 on DraftKings, but 5,000 on FanDuel, and both min price or near min price, $11 on Yahoo. For the Hornets, you've got LaMelo Ball. He's 10-3 on both DraftKings and FanDuel, $44 on Yahoo. The Pistons have allowed the second most fantasy points to point guards this year. He's averaged 58 DraftKings points his last 5 games, so he's one of the top pay-up options on this slate. Then you have Gordon Hayward at 6,000 on DraftKings, 6,200 on FanDuel, $25 on Yahoo. The Pistons have allowed the 8th most fantasy points to small forwards, so I do like him. And then Mark Williams, 5,900 on DraftKings, 6,600 on FanDuel, $21 on Yahoo. The Pistons have allowed the 8th most fantasy points to centers this year, and he had a monster game, 48 DraftKings points against the Heat on Saturday. So should be a favorable matchup. My only question would be if this game is going to stay close enough that we get the full allotment of minutes from these players. But if we do, this should be a really good game. From a DFS perspective. Like I said before, these are two of the worst teams in the league in the standings, but in DFS, we're just looking for the fantasy points. Next game, we have at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Boston Celtics at the New York Knicks. Boston's favored by 2.5. It has a 224 over under. From a viewer standpoint, this should definitely be the best game of the night. We've got for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown is going to be out, so that's big for them. And then Gallinari is also out. And Derek White, he should play. He's listed as probable. And the Knicks don't have anybody listed on their injury report, so it looks like they're fully healthy. So we've got Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams. And then for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. There's only a couple plays in this game that I really like on each side. For the Celtics, Jason Tatum, he's 10-2 on DraftKings, 11,000 on FanDuel, $47 on Yahoo. Tatum's averaged 56.5 DraftKings points per game without Jaylen Brown this year in the lineup. And then Tatum did have 63.5 DraftKings points against the Knicks earlier this year on January 26th. And then Derek White, we've seen he's been playing really well when Jaylen Brown's been out of the lineup. He is pretty expensive on FanDuel at $6,900, but he's $5,500 on DraftKings and $23 on Yahoo. So I do like that price on DraftKings and Yahoo. He's averaged 37.3 DraftKings points in 11 games without Jaylen Brown. And then the other play for some value coming off the bench, assuming he's coming off the bench, Grant Williams, he's only 3,700 on DraftKings, 3,400 on DraftKings, 4,700 on FanDuel, and $11 on Yahoo. And then on the Knicks side, the only play I'm really looking at is Jalen Brunson. He's 8,500 on DraftKings, 8,400 on FanDuel, $34 on Yahoo. He's averaged 45.6 DraftKings points in 2 games against Boston this year, and he did have 49 DraftKings points in their last game, which was on January 26th. That takes us to the last game of the night at New Orleans, 8 p.m. Eastern, so a pretty early night. Last game of the night being at 8 p.m. Eastern. New Orleans is favored by 4, has a 228 over under. For the Magic, Michael Carter Williams, the newly added Michael Carter Williams, is listed as questionable. They're not sure if he's going to play or not. And then Jonathan Isaac is out. And then for the Pelicans, they have E.J. Liddell, Larry Nance Jr. is out, and Zion Williamson is still out. So the projected starting lineup for Orlando: Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. For the Pelicans, C.J. McCollum, Josh Richardson, Brandon Ingram, Herbert Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas. I like on the Magic side, Franz Wagner. He's 6,100 on FanDuel, or on DraftKings, 6,700 on FanDuel, and $22 on Yahoo. He had 52.5 DraftKings points the last time they faced the Pelicans on January 20th. And then on the Pelicans side, I like Brandon Ingram, 8,000 on DraftKings, 8,200 on FanDuel, $33 on Yahoo. Orlando has allowed the 6th most fantasy points to small forward, so I do like him. I also like Josh Richardson a little bit. More on DraftKings and Yahoo. He's 5,400 on DraftKings, 6,200 on FanDuel. That's a little pricey. $19 on Yahoo. And then you have some value with Larry Nance Jr. out of the lineup. Najee Marshall is 3,300 on DraftKings, 5,100 on FanDuel, and $11 on Yahoo. So that is the quick overview of the 4-game breakdown. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ownership. Go ahead and hit refresh here and see what the latest projections are going to show. Good afternoon to Mad Bowler. Glad to have you with us. Yeah, that's my concern, Doug, is the blowout issues, the potential of that. Let's see what this deal is. I don't know what your name is, but you're talking about the U.S. national team. Yeah, it's always tough to compare different eras, but I think the big difference is the emphasis on defense is nowhere near what it used to be. All right, so for the projected ownership tonight, Alec Burks, number 1 at 70%. Like I said, he's 3,500. Then we have James Wiseman at 3,700, 60.5. This is for DraftKings, by the way. Killian Hayes, 4,600, 56.7. LaMelo Ball, 51.2. And Hamidou Diallo at 3,600, 45%. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players are all from that Detroit-Charlotte game. So people are obviously thinking the same way I was, that it could be a high-scoring game. Not really concerned about the blowout potential, it looks like. So that's interesting to me. Then we have Jason Tatum at 10-2. He is 43.8%. Joel Embiid at 11,000, 37.4. Brandon Ingram, 8,000, 29.4. Derek White, 5,500, 26.7. Isaiah Stewart, 5,100, 24.9. Terry Rozier, 6,800, 24.1. Julius Randle, 9,300, 23%. James Harden, 9,800, 21.5. CJ McCollum, 7,400, 19.2. Gordon Hayward, 6,000, 18%. And Marvin Bagley, 4,500, 15.4. So quite a bit of ownership from the Detroit and Charlotte game. Looks like it's going to be pretty high owned. And then on FanDuel, we have Killian Hayes at 61.4% at $5,400. Alec Burks at $5,000, 59.5%. LaMelo Ball, 10-3, 48%. Marvin Bagley, 4,900, 45.4%. Gordon Hayward, 6,200, 41.4%. Hamidou Diallo, 5,100, 40.6%. Brandon Ingram, 8,200, 38.4%. Terry Rozier, 29.9. CJ McCollum, 29.8. Tied with him, James Wiseman, 29.8. Isaiah Stewart, 29.6. Paulo Banchero, 28.6. Jason Tatum, 27.7. Willie Hernan-Gomez, I hadn't seen his name yet, at 4,600. He's 24.1. James Harden, 10,000, 23.8. Josh Richardson, 6,200, 22%. Tied with him, Jonas Valanciunas, 6,100, 22%. And Derek White, 6,900, 20.4%. Yahoo, the number one projected owned player is LaMelo Ball at $44, 41.8. Then we have Jason Tatum at $47, 40.4. It's pretty uncommon that we have two pay up guys as the top owned players, but that's what we're looking at. Alec Burks, $11, 38.4. Killian Hayes, $16, 37.8. Hamidou Diallo, $11, 37.4. James Wiseman, $10, 28%. James Harden, 27%. Paulo Banchero, 25.8. Terry Rozier, 25.4. Brandon Ingram, 23.8. CJ McCollum, 23. Joel Embiid, 22.8. Tied with him, Isaiah Stewart, 22.8. Gordon Hayward, 22%. Mark Williams, 20.8. Jonas Valanciunas, 20.6. Franz Wagner, 20.2. A lot of common ownership in that Charlotte-Detroit game. So that's going to be the key for your tournaments, is if you're going to play that game or not. Because if that game gets a blowout and you don't have a lot in that game and it's highly owned, you're going to be sitting real pretty. Hey, Garage Junkie, what's going on, man? Charlie, how's it going? I am Crash. I'm not Coach. But I'm sure Coach is watching. Hey, Sean, what's going on, man? All right, guys. Well, last thing before we go, the PrizePicks plays tonight. Like I said before, Jason Tatum, he's averaged around 59 DraftKings points without Jaylen Brown in the lineup. So I like his more than 50.5 fantasy score. I also like Mark Williams, more than 30.5 fantasy score. Like I said, he had like 48 the other night against Miami, which is a lot tougher matchup. So as long as this game stays close, I do like Mark Williams quite a bit. And then the other play is going to be Najee Marshall, more than 6.5 real points. He's averaged around 10.5 whenever Larry Nance has been out of the lineup. So I like the more than 6.5 points for Najee Marshall. So hope everybody enjoyed the show. Just a quick 20-minute show or so today. Deb is going to be back on here tomorrow, so hope everybody tunes in for that. Hope everybody has a great Monday night, and we will be back with Deb tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and PrizePicks. Thank you.